मित्रों, आज इस महत्वपूर्ण बैठक अभिविन्यास कार्यक्रम माने विषय बोध, दैट इज अंग्रेजी में हम लोग ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम कहते हैं इसको। इसका शुभारंभ करते हुए मैं मन में बहुत प्रसन्न हूँ, क्योंकि राजनीतिक जीवन में, जनजीवन में ये अभिविन्यास माने ओरिएंटेशन बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। क्योंकि हम जब सदस्य बने इस सभा का, तो सभा का विधि विधान क्या है, नियम क्या है, इसका पुराना इतिहास क्या है और इसमें कौन कौन रहा है, उन्होंने कैसा व्यवहार किया है, और आजकल वर्तमान में जो हो रहे इसके संदर्भ में सदन में हम कैसा व्यवहार करना, हमारा आचरण कैसा होना चाहिए, इसके लिए पहले थोड़ा विषय परिज्ञान, knowledge is very much important. So that's why this orientation program has been organized. We wanted to have it earlier because of COVID, because of other reasons, it was postponed. But as the time is passing away and we could not have this, I told them that we should have it now. And always better to have it during session days. One is the COVID, the other one is 4 days, continuous holidays. So we were skeptical because of COVID. सदस्य अपना अपना इलाके में जाना चाहते, अपना क्षेत्र में काम करना चाहते, वो भी महत्वपूर्ण है, मगर ये भी महत्वपूर्ण है। इस विषय को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमने तय किया, आई एम हैप्पी half of the newly elected members are present here today in this orientation program. Half. I would have been more happy if everyone is here, but as I told you the background, this is also a fairly good number. I welcome you all to this two-day orientation program. This program is primarily meant to equip the new members with a broad understanding of the rules and regulations, procedure of the Council of States, besides various windows available to the members to effectively express themselves and discharge their responsibilities as members of the Parliament, having been chosen for Rajya Sabha. In our country, becoming a legislator is the most coveted assignment in public life. It was the happiest moment even for me when I first became legislator in 1978. Because there is a pride in representing people, lakhs of people, and being their nominee, coming to the House, and then highlighting various issues concerning the people, that gives maximum satisfaction. There is an intense competition to succeed in this aspiration. It's not that easy that you just reach here. Or many of you have experience in Jilla Parishad, in cooperative movement, in other governmental nominated bodies, and also in the state, member of the assembly, member of the legislative council. Some of you worked as ministers in the state or worked in the rank with the ministerial responsibility. All these experiences definitely are very important responsibilities. The competition is much more intense than the civil services. The civil service also one has to work very hard, prepare themselves. But this is more intense. There you cannot talk, you can only work. Here you can work, you can talk also and represent the people. So that's a happy moment. There is a prescribed syllabus for civil service, IAS, IPS. But because there is a definite curriculum. There is no fixed curriculum here. Though often you find there are fixed agendas for this session, for this sitting. But the curriculum is people's welfare. The curriculum is Constitution of India. That is our curriculum. But as an officer, it was a secured job for life and not for a legislator. On the contrary, the real challenge begins for a legislator after becoming a legislator. To be re-elected every 5 years or 6 years by proving his or her worth and retaining the confidence of the people is a big task in which many legislators fail and some of them succeed. In this backdrop, I compliment all of you in becoming members of the Rajya Sabha, Upper House, House of Elders. We are known as House of Elders. So we must behave also as elders. Because the youngsters across the country, the general public, the students in particular, they'll be watching the proceedings of the House in order to get inspiration. The Rajya Sabha, as I told you, is a very important house, and becoming member is no mean achievement. You could become so based on your association with the work of the people in that area, your goodwill, reputation, and other credentials. You now have the constitutional mandate for representing the interest of the state or union territory you have been elected from. For you to succeed in this noble assignment, you need to perform well as a lawmaker in raising the matters of public importance from time to time in the House, seeking solutions as appropriate, making quality contributions to the debates in the House, and in ensuring the accountability of the executive to the Parliament. These correspond to the legislative, representative, deliberative, and oversight functions of the legislature. For any public servant or other functionary to effectively discharge their functions, proper understanding of the functional domain, the rules and regulations governing the work environment, and more importantly, right attitude and orientation are very important. This program is aimed at providing that orientation. I hope that all of you would make good use of this two-day orientation. Since independence, the Parliament, the state legislature have been playing an important role in scripting the socio-economic transformation of our nation. As a result, our country, poor, illiterate, and technology backward at the stroke of freedom, has made huge strides and emerged as a nation to be reckoned with now. legislators across the country who contribute to this change over the years can take pride for the same. Even as the vibrancy of our democracy, the largest in the world, we are the largest parliamentary democracy in the world. And we are proud. I can tell you we are the most vibrant democracy, functional democracy. There is no parallel to our democracy anywhere in the world because we are not only selected by parties but also elected by the people. And we have a responsibility to represent the people and also speak on behalf of the people and make contribution for the development and the growth of the country. Some of the concerns with regard to functioning of our legislature. Legislature means both the assembly as well as parliament. Both within and outside legislative chambers, resulting in increasing negative perception quotient about lawmaking bodies and lawmakers among the people. The patrons of parliamentary democracy, they are the patrons. This is not good for the world's largest democracy. Some of the negatives. This orientation program is to sensitize all of you to this raising concern and help you all in making a difference. I have gone through the orientation module chartered by the Secretariat for 2-day program. I am happy to note that few experienced members of the Rajya Sabha, your seniors, they are all going to interact with you during these 2 days on various aspects of functioning of the Rajya Sabha, highlighting the nuances, the rules, the procedure, and the opportunities available, and conventions that are set up by our seniors for conveying your views and concerns. My dear members, I have about a little 30 years legislative experience and another 3.5 years as the chairman of this upper house. I would like to share with you a dozen tips to prove yourself to be effective parliamentarian. First and foremost, be regular. Simple. One of the secrets for my success, though I come from an ordinary background, farming background, none in my family were in politics. No advantage of any hereditary this thing. And I could reach this position, one, because of the sincerity in taking up the responsibility. I don't want to touch party politics or experience in the party. Though some of you have mentioned that you are so-and-so and I was so-and-so and all. That was only so-and-so. Now it is over. I am no more in politics. I am not going to come to politics also. I had enough of it. Attending legislature, attending parliament regularly, that really helps more than anything else. I was a member of Legislative Assembly for 10 years. Morning 7:30 I used to go and leave only at 1 o'clock. Our assembly those days used to meet 7:38 to 1 o'clock. Never used to leave my seat. There was no occasion even to go for washroom those days because we were young. Continuously sitting in the house, first. Second, hearing the speeches made by seniors, by experienced people who share their experience and give wisdom to understand. paying attention to the proceedings of the House, what is happening, how everyone is behaving, how the chair is trying to regulate, how the interventions that are made by other senior members, how points of orders are raised, how disorder was managed to bring order in the House, how rulings were given. That is the second important aspect, and that is a must for success. The third one is reading the rule book. You by heart it. Any rule without reference to rule book, you will be able to quote the rule. Also quoting the figures, budget figures, instances, history, that is again another art. And people recognize that one. If you are able to instantly remember and then quote a relevant instance, that really helps, undoubtedly. For that you have to read. So first is reading and understanding the rules, the regulations, the procedures and the precedents. That is also equally important. On such an occasion, on a similar occasion, what has happened? Who said what? Finally, what was the ruling? This is also equally important. And then going to library, visiting the library and going through the proceedings of the House earlier and going through the speeches made by veteran parliamentarians. Veteran parliamentarians, what they have said, how they spoke, how they countered effectively, how they intervened, how they were responded. All these things are very much available in the debates. One of the reasons for my enrichment of the parliamentary practice was going through parliamentary debates. What did our constitutional makers expected from us in the Constituent Assembly? Go through Constituent Assembly debates. Wonderful. Very rich experience. You can really enjoy it, I can tell you. Going through parliamentary debates is the second. First is Constitutional Assembly. The great speeches made by great people those days. And what are the expectations they were having about the new generation? And what are the cautions made? Cautions were made even at that time also. Some of them predicted that things are going to happen in a negative way also. So they cautioned about the constitution, about the parliament, about political parties. Everything you find as if they have visualized on so and so date it's going to happen like this. They had that foresight. So that is a rich experience of going through Constituent Assembly debates. And then parliamentary debates. The parliamentary debates, Jawaharlal Nehru, Syama Prasad Mukherjee, Acharya N.G. Ranga, Bhupesh Gupta, Hiren Mukherjee, Indrajit Gupta, Pilu Modi, Minu Masani, Prakashveer Shastri, you name anybody. There were stalwarts from the south, from the west, from the north and also east. They made such a beautiful contributions from time to time. And unmindful, who is their rival? They used to speak without fear or favor, but with dignity, with decency, maintaining decorum. These three things are very important. Dignity, decency and decorum. That if possible only if you are wedded to discipline, parliamentary discipline. Discipline in every walk of life is very important. In personal life also. In personal life or in political life or in parliamentary life. That is also equally important. That enriches your knowledge. My dear Friends, I am saying it with all authority of my own experience. I told you my background, but I could become everything in this short span of 40 years of political experience up to the second constitutional position. I could become and handle it with ease because I have gone through those proceedings, because I have studied those proceedings, because I watched their performance and then tried to follow them. That is the secret of success. So I appeal to all of you, please go through. Number one, attend regularly. Sometimes I wonder, I feel depressed. The quorum bell has to be rung. 245, 254. What is the quorum? 10%. But you are not getting even 10%. What for? You are elected. Why? Then I started making some inquiries I can share with you. भाई क्या नहीं आ पा रहा है क्या दिल्ली? है दिल्ली में. That's an irony. दिल्ली में है, घर में है, सदन में नहीं आ रहे. Why? Why such things are happening? Even in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. We should be regular. We should be attentive. That will really enhance your understanding, your stature, and also enhance the functioning of the legislature. And the next one is that participating in the debates, simply coming to the house and sitting and quietly hearing in the initial days, yes. But afterwards, you must start speaking on issues. We are in a political party system. I understand party has to sponsor you. But nowadays you are seeing there are a lot of opportunities for everybody. You will get an opportunity because a lot of issues are there. A lot of debates are there. You will get opportunity. And then participate in the debate by study the subject. Not rules and regulations, procedures, conventions, rulings, that's one part. Subject. You must read different subjects, different problems faced by the people and come with solutions. Keeping in mind, of course, your party's ideology. But I can tell you, as far as serving the people, there is not much difference. What are the better ways? So you have to study the people's problems. And there is one best way of studying people's problem, which I have understood. I have studied people's problem by being with the people. Meeting people, greeting people, talking with people, eating with people, spending time with the people. That has been my past time. That's why I could learn many things even without books. With books, something. But reading the people's life, going around the country, spending time in your constituency, maintaining contact with constituent people, that really gives you more knowledge and understanding, that to first-hand knowledge. So participate in the debate, come prepared, and while participating in the debate, you must really keep in mind the time that is allotted to your party, time that is allotted to you, and how to make best points within the time available. That is an art. And it is not a difficult art. You can practice it. But the tendency I am seeing, first 70% of the time given, people try to say something else. And then they were cautioned and they were brought on the line at the end of it. They start asking, sir, time, sir, more, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then you will not be able to do justice to your job and to your contribution. So the best thing is, first make positive contribution. Whatever you want to say. And later, I am not encouraging for the later one, but if you have that weakness or you have that tendency to say something and then you can think about later. But initially, one must make best use of the time that is available. There is another secret to get time. You be in the house, lot of people, they will not be, so you will get opportunity. You will get an opportunity, even sometimes even unasked for, whether the party sponsors you or not, still you get time, because the others are not there. I'm talking of the reality. I'm not casting any aspiration on any people. You are all my members. I feel proud of some of you because of the contribution you make, even the first timers. Wonderful contributions are being made. Of course, seniors, they also make very good contribution. So if that means, what does it show? If you desire, you can perform better. That is. And I get elated when I hear members, that to youngsters and newcomers, making such a wonderful contribution to the debates of the House. So there is talent, inherent talent. The talent, the skill can be little upgraded if you go through the debates, if you attend the parliament regularly, if you go through the procedure, then you can really enhance your knowledge. Our constitution provides the pathway for socio-economic transformation of our nation, based on the principles of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. You need to equip yourself with proper knowledge of these constitutional principles and the underlying philosophy as they offer the operational matrix for you. The Constitution of India is the law of the land, which defines the functional boundaries of the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. As members of the Council of States, you are in particular required to be conversant with the scheme of distribution of powers, powers of the state, powers of the center, and also local bodies after 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment. Certain powers were given to the local bodies. And nowadays, because of Finance Commission recommendations, more and more funds also are getting devolved upon local bodies. As we represent the state, you have to represent the interest of your state also in the House. We have special powers under the Constitution with regard to registration mentioned in the concurrent list, creation of All India services, and ratification of the President rule when Lok Sabha is not existent, so be it through the provisions of the Constitution. The second one is understanding the role and evolution of Rajya Sabha. I am not going to the history, how the Rajya Sabha evolved. This point was stressed that we are a second chamber, but not a secondary chamber. We must understand. In the Rajya Sabha Constituent Assembly debates, if you go through, except in the case of money bills, both the House of Parliament are at par with regard to making of laws for the country. Distinction has been made since executive is accountable to the House of the People in Constitution. As I said a little while ago, Rajya Sabha in fact has some special powers in the matter of defending the federal scheme of things. Given the separate provisions for election of the members of the two Houses of Parliament and changes in the political landscape of the country, the governments of the day did not have a majority in Rajya Sabha for the last 39 years out of 69 years, since Rajya Sabha came into existence in 1952. However, you should know that except on 3 occasions that required joint sittings of the both houses to sort out differences on lawmaking, both the houses functioned in a spirit of shared understanding and harmony. All these years, this record has dispelled the fears expressed by some members in the Constituent Assembly that second chamber might prove obstructionist. The spirit of shared vision shall continue to guide us, the functioning of the Parliament. So you should not conduct yourself as an obstructionist manner in the House. I have already told you about knowing the rules and conventions. That is very important. And then have healthy respect for rules and conventions of the House. And then some people have developed, they quote convention, they quote rule when it suits them. That should not be the practice. You raise a point of order. You can raise point of order by bringing order first. You cannot create disorder and then raise point of order. One has to understand that. If somebody is deviating from the rule, you must first follow the rule and then point out. Members have got every right and the chair is bound to give you an opportunity. Not to make a speech, but, sir, this is a deviation. This is against the rule, so and so. The House frequently runs into problems on account of repeated recourse to certain rules. And nowadays we are seeing Rule 267, seeking suspension of the rules to take up a particular subject, abandoning the listed business. It should be a rare occasion. That Rule 267 says there is something important, sudden, that has happened. So, suspend the rules and then take up that issue by suspending all, suspending 0 hour, suspending question hour, suspending the other business before the House. If you start seeking recourse to that 267, then you cannot run the House. It is very rarely used. Some people say, that in our Puranas, Brahmastra. If other astras do not function or succeed, then recourse. If you start using recourse, taking recourse to Brahmastra, that will become like any other astra. One has to understand. So it should be used in an extraordinary, an emergency situation where something has happened. Otherwise, for discussing regular issues, there are other provisions. I need not go into those details. The lawmaking process is also important because we are mandated. So there are clear provisions in the Constitution regarding the procedure to be followed in this regard. Every stage of passing a law offers unquiet opportunities either to oppose or support the bill. At the stage of the consideration and also later at various stages, you have the power to block a legislation provided you have the numbers. One cannot obstruct physically, then that is a negation of democracy. Some people sometimes, I read in newspapers, are brute majority. This was used by all parties. Don't think that only it is used by some opposition members now. No. Parties, whenever they go to opposition, they say brute majority. The majority is given by the people. And the majorities decide on the floor of the House, this way or that way. That's why I say, let the government propose, let the opposition oppose, let the House dispose. There is no other way. Even if you feel it's very wrong, it is strongly you say, but still, what is meant by democracy? Democracy, people have given a mandate. And if you don't like it, or you want to oppose it, you oppose it. Oppose while speaking, oppose while voting, oppose even while passing by staging a walkout. That's why I always say in a later way, either you can talk out or walk out, but don't do breakout. Frequent breakout will lead to all out of democracy. We should not contribute to that. My dear friends, the 3D mantra, discuss, debate and decide. That is the only way in a democracy. You should not go to the other one, that is disrupt. Because disrupting the procedures of the parliament is disrupting. It happens once in a way. You try to gain time, you try to score points. All this is allowed in democracy. It's really a part of a healthy democracy. You use strong parliamentary language. You buttress your points by logic, by quoting the precedents and conventions. And then finally, one has to follow the mandate of the people. Mandate is reflected by the way members wanted to exercise their mandate. That is, and I also offer here, that's a big dilemma before me. People say, sir, don't pass any bill in din. I was applying my mind how to overcome this. And the chairmans before me also, some of them after retirement, they spoke about it. They wrote about it also. My solution, I have found an easy solution to this. No din and no passage of bill in the din. Simple. You can't create a din and then say, sir, don't pass it. You can't. You are legislative functioning. Your mandate is to pass a bill or oppose a bill. Passing do not mean automatic because the government is pushing through bill and you have to pass it. No. You can oppose it at any stage. And then the House has to decide. The House is supreme in a democracy. So this has to be remembered by each one of you. And then, my dear friends, this parliament or legislature, people should not take recourse to religion, region, caste, color. We should not try to bring divisions on that basis. Yes, you can argue for justice to different sections. And we also have special provision for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and also there should not be any scope for gender discrimination or social discrimination. It's unfortunate. Even after so many years, it is happening. And one of our student leader has to resign from Oxford University because of racial discrimination. I'm not going in detail into that. And so-called, mature democracies and all. Such things are happening. We should avoid them. And within our country, as I told you, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region, we are Indians. We are Bharatiyas. We must remember that and act accordingly. Act accordingly. There is nothing wrong in championing the cause of a region. There is nothing wrong in championing the cause of a language. There is nothing wrong in pointing out against injustice to a particular religion. And there is nothing wrong to speak in a particular language. In fact, as I told you, I have been telling you all more often, I will be more than happy if you speak in your mother tongue. I would like to see a day that all members are able to speak freely in their mother tongue and there is a simultaneous translation available. Simply speaking for the sake of speaking without others understanding will not have any standing. So we must have simultaneous translation. Not only here, I want this practice in the Supreme Court, in the High Court. I want this practice in legislatures of various states. I want this practice in administration at every level. One must administer the state in people's language. Because of colonial rule, we were all taught GO, English only. Then all orders, English only. Orders for whom? For the people, na? People should know what the character has passed the order and all. So that is very important. It is very unfortunate even after 70 years. We were still knowing English, nothing wrong, you must know. Hindi, you must know. French, as many languages as possible. But do not ignore your own language. You will be able to express better in your mother tongue. I've seen some of the members making such a wonderful contribution in their mother tongue. But we must develop a system of simultaneous translation. Then only it will be successful. Discussing issues which are not connected with us, going out of the way, trying to paint our country in a negative, this thing is not going to help. It's our country. We may have political differences. We oppose each other. But at the same time, as country is concerned, we should not do anything or talk anything which will damage to the country's image, which our enemies, others will use and say even in Indian Parliament, this has been said. That we should not give such scope because unity, integrity, safety and security of the nation is vital for all. That is not concerned with this party or that party, ruling party or opposition party. My dear friends, members speak of privileges, rights and responsibilities. Yes, we do have privileges. But there is a misconception about privilege. Some people complain, sir, I have been arrested against my privilege and all. There is no privilege. Anybody can be arrested, but the chair has to be informed within 24 hours of the arrest. And then if somebody obstructs you from performing your responsibility, then it also becomes a privilege, your responsibility. But you criticize each other and then say my privilege has been affected. You can't say. That is in democracy, free speech, free expression, free writing. But free writing, free expression should not cause disaffection in the society. It should not hurt the sentiments of the other people. You have rights and responsibilities together. This has to be understood. Friends, as I told you, and then the presiding officer of the House, whoever it is, today I am the presiding officer. Tomorrow somebody else. Deputy chairman presides sometime. Some of you panel chairman also preside sometime. The presiding officer is the custodian of rules, conventions and values of the House, evolved over the years. So while you have the right to seek your due in the House, as per the rules, it is your interest that the House to abide by the decision of the chair. Finally, decision of the chair is final. That has to be understood. It is chairman, deputy chairman or panel chairman, whoever it is. So you members, you got a very valuable opportunity, a great opportunity in your life. In our life, history is written. When you go to public, when people try to speak about you, that they must be able to remember your contribution, your conduct, discipline, decorum, decency, and your distinguished knowledge on various subjects. That is more important. So take care and remember the legacy, and then your legacy will be written when you take leave of the House by others. That has to be understood by one and all. Once again, I convey my best wishes to all of you, and then hope that you will be able to take advantage of these various sessions and experience of seniors for different parties. We are going to take different subjects. Take advantage of the same and enrich yourself and enrich the nation. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.
माननीय सभापति महोदय जी के आशीष वचनों के पश्चात अब मैं श्री देश दीपक वर्मा जी, महासचिव राज्यसभा से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो अपना धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करने आए। एसजी साहब।
धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव is not a vote of thanks. I have said everywhere, no vote of thanks, no vote at all. Only vote is in the election. This is Dhanyavad Prastav. And when you meet and greet also, Namaskar. You say morning, good morning. Then you have to say afternoon, good afternoon. Then evening, good evening. Then night, good night. You don't know if it's going to be good night or bad night. Why all this? Say namaskar. These are the practices we must evolve that because we are members of Parliament of India. Please.